Welcome to a new episode of FI News Review. I'm your host, 𝗟𝗏𝗂𝗏, and I want to talk about that big C-store news item. Circle K operator Alimentation Couche-Tard proposing to buy out 7-Eleven operator 𝗟𝗏𝘁 Holdings Co. in what would be the biggest foreign takeover of a Japanese company ever. The deal is at a valuation of a whopping $31 billion, and we have to break down the details of this right now. So let's give a warm welcome to FI's Chief Content Officer, 𝗂𝗶𝗴𝗍.
Thanks for having me, 𝗟𝗏𝗏.
All right, Kelly, let's jump right into this. So give us the major points of this groundbreaking story.
Well, this proposed acquisition would make for a big shakeup in the C-store world. We're talking the biggest M&A deal in the history of the convenience store industry. This deal would create the world's top operator of 100,000 C-stores. Now, Alimentation Couche-Tard, I pronounced that the best I could. I did not take French in high school or college. Full disclosure, 𝗟𝗏𝗏. And I'll refer to that company as ACT for the rest of our chat. They said this bid was strictly preliminary, and a committee of outside directors will make a thorough review of the proposed deal, according to 7&I. And one of the interesting elements of this proposed merger, though, is that ACT is much smaller than 7&I, with a little less than 17,000 total stores. But the Canadian company boasts a bigger valuation of nearly $59 billion, according to Bloomberg. So it's also worth noting that, in general, foreign takeovers of Japanese companies simply don't happen too often.
And Kelly, what would be the implications of this deal?
If this deal goes through, 𝗟𝗏𝗏, it would create a global C-store giant. These are the two biggest C-store operators in North America. ACT operates C-stores around the world under its own brand, as well as brands like Circle K and Holiday stores. Tokyo-based 7&I has 85,000 total stores, and it gets the vast majority of its sales from North America from brands like 7-Eleven and Speedway. Combined, these two companies have a market value of $97 billion and over 300,000 employees. So this would almost be like the retail equivalent of Ford and Chevy joining forces, and it also brings to mind another major proposed deal that's been in the news this year between the Kroger and Albertsons grocery chains.
So this is undoubtedly a bold move by Couche-Tard. What do you think this all means in a larger perspective?
If nothing else, 𝗟𝗏𝗏, I think it just goes to show that ACT is willing to double down on the trend of convenience. That's a consumer demand that shows no signs of slowing. Consumers want the option of grab-and-go meals these days, and time is increasingly precious to consumers. This also just speaks to the rise of C-stores in general in terms of being relied upon to offer not only gas, but an expanding array of food like pizza and fresh sandwiches, and even healthier food like produce, as we noted in the Food Institute's August monthly report here. You're seeing C-store brands like Buc-ee's, 𝗏𝗏𝗁, Sheetz, and Casey's really develop loyal followings. C-stores like 7-Eleven have also become super popular in Japan with food that's really beloved, which is interesting to observe. But before we get ahead of ourselves too much, there are industry analysts out there, as Bloomberg noted, that think with all the logistical hurdles involved and once negotiating is actually done, the probability of these two companies actually joining forces is somewhat slim. This proposed deal has already raised some antitrust questions, and ACT previously made a $20 billion bid to buy Carrefour SA, and that was blocked by the French government. So this is a proposed deal that's in its early stage, and we'll have to monitor it for a while here, 𝗟𝗏𝗏.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see how this pans out, Kelly. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today, everyone. The Food Institute's very own Chief Content Officer, 𝗂𝗶𝗏𝗏.
Thank you.
And as always, you can check out more of our great content by clicking on this playlist. Until next time, I'm 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏 with the Food Institute.